Julia Ainsley. Julia, I want to start with you and your new reporting for NBC News. The piece is titled "Botched Family Reunifications Left Migrant Children Waiting in Vans Overnight." This is a stunning story that I had to read twice to believe it. Walk us through it if you can, Julia.
So, Willie, this is a heartbreaking story. This goes back to last July. There were 37 children who were told that they would be leaving their custody to be reunited with their parents. This is in Texas heat. This is after they had been separated and Trump had reversed the separation policy and they were starting to reunite families. So they think they have a 30-minute drive to an ICE detention center to see their parents. Instead, they get there. The parking lot is full of vans. Other children just like them waiting to be reunited with their parents. But ICE has not staffed the facility to be able to make these reunifications happen, to process people in and make sure that the right children are going to the right parents. So instead, these children had to wait over a day on vans in a parking lot. It's not that they were locked in the vans per se, but that was the coolest place for them to be. They went into the center and got supplies like blankets and food, but essentially that's how long they had to wait. And this we were able to get more details on because my colleague Jacob Soboroff and I had emails passed between high-level officials, both who were contractors running the facilities for children and those within HHS, that raised this to the highest levels as they saw this is a really botched process. And Willie, that's where we were a year ago. Today, there are still children who were caught in the middle of a bureaucratic entanglement. And that is more reporting we have this morning from Jacob and myself about children who are still in Border Patrol custody, places they're not supposed to be more than 72 hours. They don't have basic bedding. They're sleeping on concrete slabs, sometimes even outside, because there isn't enough room in HHS. They're operating at 97% capacity. So again, these are children. These are our most vulnerable populations of immigrants. And there is, yes, a huge influx. But part of the suffering here has to do with simple government processes and not being able to get the capacity and the manpower that these children need to have their most basic needs met in time.
Well, there's a way to avoid this, of course, and it's to not separate children from their parents to begin with. But that happened.
And Willie, I will say that these children we're talking about today, these are children who came unaccompanied. The children last summer were, of course, separated. So I just want to point that out. These come unaccompanied. Sometimes it's with a grandparent or an aunt and uncle, but they're considered unaccompanied in our system, and they are being stuck at these border stations.
Good clarification there. And you've got some email correspondence during this time, including one from the official who was responsible for the children. And he writes, "There has to be a better process. I hope as we move forward, there can be adjustments so that we don't put tender age kids in this position." An acknowledgement in real time that the process is chaotic.
That's right. And that was what was happening because there were children, there were car seats in some of these vans. They're bringing young children to a center to be reunited with their parents. These were not children who were meant to be separated, and the government really wasn't in a position to take care of them. And today, we are learning that just in the past month, there was a 1-year-old that came with his grandmother and was near death. This is in the latest reporting this morning, was near death, 105-degree fever, was considered unaccompanied because he was with his grandmother, not a parent, and he had to wait for 9 days in Border Patrol custody before he could be transferred to HHS, where they get better care. So they're children very vulnerable, oftentimes needing intense medical care, who aren't able to get it as quickly as they need to because of different kinks in the system.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.